In every man's life, there should be a couple of things that he should do. This concept today is called cultured osmosis. It's a concept that came up with where men specifically should travel to unknown countries, should push the limits of what they thought was possible in terms of their mind. See, a lot of the time you get trapped. Your country is the only way that works, nothing else works, and it's kind of like a bubble. But the bubble is your belief system. You think everything is done a certain way. Nothing can push that bubble until you come out to different cultures and you absorb pretty much the way. I'm literally in Japan right now, and as you can see, they do everything in a different way. Let's just say your city is Kansas, small town in Kansas, and you think that the way that life works is just the small town in Kansas. This is with everything in your life. This is with making money, this is with girls, this is with connections, relationships, but it goes deeper and it goes into how you operate in the world. See, energetically you operate in a certain frequency, and as a cause of that, certain events, certain attributes are placed on you, certain circumstances are happening in your life because of this energy that you emit. Now, a great example of this is if you're like a downer, we call them Debbie Downers in Australia. If you're a Debbie Downer, you're just a miserable guy, and you've probably seen where these people are always having things done to them, or something went wrong, or every day there is a certain type of event that happens that's catastrophic. These events just don't randomly occur 4 times in a row. It's just the energy. And so when you're traveling, what happens is that you shift that energy into becoming an expander. Now, the reason why, and I'm not talking about you go on one trip for a holiday, I'm talking about actually traveling to as many places as possible. And so people usually do this when they're going for a Europe trip, where they go to this country, Italy, Greece, Spain, Portugal, and they start to really tap into this idea. But when you're going through different cultures, different things, you become this ultimate energetic receiver of different cultures. And what that does is an expander. You become someone that can break his own beliefs. Like, you thought it was done this way, you went to this country, they do it a completely opposite way. You thought it was only done and there was no other way that it could be done, and then you go there and they do it completely differently, and then you're like, holy hell. You think that the world operates in a certain way, and then when you figure out it doesn't, and it can operate in a completely different way, your whole reality's broken. You have to go back over the years and look at all the decisions that you made based on the information that you had and the belief system, and have to excruciatingly realize that you might have been wrong in certain circumstances. And that's what a lot of people are afraid of. That's why their beliefs are rock solid. They don't want to change them, because it's not so much the changing of the belief, it's that once the pattern has been recognized by the brain, the self-preservation mechanism kicks in. And do you think it wants to go through the childhood memory when you were 11? Do you think it wants to go through the 16-year-old memory of losing that particular girl because you did a certain thing? Or, so it doesn't want to do that. It's built a web of how the world works and wants to stick with it. And the way to physically break it is by traveling, because your eyes, sometimes they want to deceive you, your brain wants to deceive you, your ears want to deceive you. When you're in the reality where something is completely different to when you thought it was, or how you thought it was, there's no changing that. There's no lying to yourself when it's right in front of you. And that's that osmosis I'm talking about, of being in the environment, in a different cultural environment. For you specifically, traveling is an important, integral part of leveling up as a man. Leveling up your social life, your dating life, the way that you operate in the world, the way that you walk, the way that you talk, the way that you move through reality, time and space. It's different. And so it's just a fundamental kind of piece. And so don't take it where it's like, oh, I have to do all this stuff, or I have to do this, I have to do that. Take it as an adventure that by the end of it, you're going to be a different person. And a lot of people do talk about that. You know, they travel a lot, completely different person. You know, if I wanted to figure out where the hell I was going right now, I got no freaking clue. Like, what the hell does this mean, right? You're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But that is a cultural moment in me being like, okay, when I thought back in the day, you know, I'm always, my body was saying that when you know the directions, you're comfortable. When you know everything, you're comfortable. And then going to a place like this and got no idea. Now it's like, okay, well, our comfort level has to be placed in something else. It can't be in just knowing the directions or knowing my environment. And so for me as a person, that was like a big thing. I'll give you a revelation where for me, I was always comfortable when I knew all the information. I could relax, my personality could be, and I still to a degree think I'm a little bit like this. But traveling, I've had to push myself into the unknown of not knowing anything and being comfortable. So you can imagine that my growth and my personality has changed based on just that sheer simple fact. And so I'd urge to you, one of the biggest things is take the trip, take the opportunity to go out there and culturally learn from osmosis of being around different people, different environments, because you never know when it might be your last day, last week, last month, and you'll definitely not regret it, that's for sure. And yeah, so go take that trip.